You know, it was one of those pitch-black nights in Willow Creek, that sleepy Midwest town where folks mostly mind their own business until they don't, and everything goes sideways in a heartbeat. Little Jake, just 12 years old, huddled in the corner of his bedroom, ribs throbbing from the fresh marks his dad left earlier that evening, the kind that make you wince with every breath, listening to those heavy footsteps thumping down the hall like a countdown to hell. He knew what was coming, the old man, reeking of cheap whiskey, belt in hand, ready to unleash whatever rage the bottle stirred up that day, and in that moment, shaking like a leaf, Jake pulled out this wrinkled note from under his mattress, scrawled with a number he'd overheard at the gas station, whispered like a secret among the locals. The Thunder Riders, those rough-around-the-edges bikers everyone talked trash about, but nobody messed with. His fingers fumbled the phone, heart pounding so loud he swore his dad could hear it through the walls. And when that deep, gravelly voice picked up Ryan Cole, the guy leading the pack didn't waste time with questions, just growled, "Tell me where, kid." And Jake whispered his address, the creaky old house on Elm Street with the sagging porch and the overgrown yard that screamed neglect. 5 minutes felt like forever, but then boom, the night shattered with the rumble of engines. A dozen Harleys tearing through the quiet streets like a storm front rolling in, headlights piercing the dark, exhaust coughing flames that lit up the neighbors' curtains, twitching in curiosity or fear, who knows which. Ryan and his crew dismounted, boots hitting pavement with that solid thud, forming a human wall between Jake and the front door just as his dad burst out, belt raised high, eyes bloodshot and wild, snarling. "What the hell is this? You think you can hide behind a bunch of grease monkeys?" Ryan didn't flinch, just stepped forward, his voice low and steady like a judge passing sentence. "Drop it, pal, or we'll make you." And the old man's fury flickered, confusion creeping in as he realized he wasn't facing some scared kid anymore, but a line of tattooed giants who'd ridden through worse than his drunken tantrums. Jake peeked from his window, watching his dad backpedal a step, the belt slipping from his grip with a pathetic clatter, and in that instant, something inside Jake shifted, not just relief, but this spark of wonder, like maybe the world wasn't all monsters after all. The riders helped him climb out, wrapped him in an oversized leather jacket that smelled like oil and freedom, strapped a helmet on his head like they'd planned it, and as they roared off with him clinging to the back of Ryan's bike, the town lit up, porches flickering with phone lights, whispers turning to shouts, some cheering quietly, others muttering about outlaws stirring up trouble. But trouble? Oh, it was just getting started. See, Willow Creek wasn't some fairy tale spot. It had its underbelly, folks like Victor Lang, the big shot mill owner who'd been feuding with the riders for years over land rights, claiming their clubhouse sat on property he wanted for expansion, twisting arms in City Hall to push them out, all while painting them as thugs to keep the community scared. Victor saw this rescue as his golden ticket: humiliate the riders, grab the kid for leverage, maybe even spin it to the cops as kidnapping to rally the town against the man. By the time the pack hit Main Street, sirens wailed in the distance, a cruiser pulling up with lights flashing, the officer stepping out, hand on his holster, barking, "You can't just snatch a boy like that. Hand him over or this gets ugly." Ryan swung off his bike, eyes locked on the cop, calm as a summer lake, but with that edge. "You saw the bruises, officer. You heard the stories folks whisper about that house system looked away too long. So we didn't." And Jake, peeking from behind, felt his stomach knot, thinking this was it. They'd send him back to the nightmare. The cop hesitated, radio crackling with static, glancing at the growing crowd, filming every word, neighbors nodding along because, yeah, they'd heard the screams before, called it in once or twice. But nothing ever changed until now. He finally exhaled, lowering his hand. "Fine, for tonight, but CPS is coming," and the riders rolled on, Jake's heart easing a bit as Ryan leaned back, shouting over the wind, "First rule, kid, you never ride alone, not anymore." They pulled into an old warehouse on the outskirts, engines cutting to silence, and Ryan knelt down, meeting Jake's wide eyes. "This ain't just a getaway. It's us saying nobody touches you again, got it? Loyalty, respect, that's our code." But before Jake could nod, gravel crunched outside, shadows emerging from the dark, Victor and his crew of hired goons, bats and chains in hand, smirking like they owned the night. You humiliated me in front of the whole damn town. Victor spat, stepping into the moonlight, his face twisted with that petty rage born from years of losing bids to the riders' stubborn hold on their turf. Hand over the kid, or we'll take him. Ryan's jaw tightened. His men fanning out, not a chance. He called us. That makes him family. And the brawl exploded, fists flying, chains whipping through the air, Ryan dodging a swing and countering with a gut punch that dropped one guy like a sack of potatoes. Jake huddled behind a crate, watching wide-eyed as Hawk Ryan's right-hand man swung a tire iron, cracking it against a thug's arm with a sickening thud, yelling, "You want him? Come through me." And though the odds were stacked, the riders fought like they were born for it. Disciplined fury turning the tide until Victor's men backed off, bruised and cursing, Victor himself groaning in the dirt. This ain't over, you'll pay for this. The town buzzed the next day, videos viral on every feed, half calling the riders heroes for stepping in where the law dragged its feet, the other half freaking out about vigilante chaos threatening their quiet lives, and Victor, nursing his ego in some backroom deal, hooked up with Elena Voss, the slick councilwoman who'd been pulling strings for decades, using her influence to manipulate zoning laws, funneling kickbacks from developments like Victor's mill expansion, seeing the riders as a thorn in her empire because their land blocked her big-money projects. She leaned in close, voice smooth as silk but cold as ice. "You've stirred the pot, Victor. Now let's use it." Got riders coming, outsiders loyal to my wallet. 88 strong to crush them once and for all, and Victor grinned through his pain. Then Ryan Cole's done. That kid's mine to parade as proof they're criminals. By sunset, the rumble hit like an earthquake. 88 bikes swarming the valley, gray patches gleaming, encircling the riders' safe house in the pines where Jake sat on the porch, helmet in lap, whispering to Ryan, "What if they win?" Ryan ruffled his hair. "Steady. Rule number whatever, kid. Fear's just fuel. We ride it out." But inside, Jake felt that old terror bubbling, mixed with this fierce loyalty to these men who'd become his shield. The engines cut, silence dropping like a hammer, and Victor's bullhorn echoed, "Cole, you're surrounded. Give up the boy, or we tear you apart." Ryan stepped out, voice booming back, "Numbers don't make you right. Victor, you chase power 'cause you're empty inside. But we fight for what's real." And doubt flickered in those hired eyes, murmurs rippling as Ryan pressed, "This kid's proof your system's rotten. You failed him. Elena's pulling your strings like a puppet." That's when the twist hit. More lights crested the ridge. Another wave of engines, red and white patches joining the fray, fellow riders from chapters afar answering the call, evening the score in a heartbeat. The battle ignited, chaos everywhere, Ryan tackling Victor mid-swing, crowbar clanging away as he pinned him, growling, "It's over, you lost the kid, the town, everything." And in the thick of it, Elena emerged from a black SUV, clapping slow, "Bravo, Cole. You played right into my hands. Cameras caught it all, painting you as outlaws while I spin the narrative." Jake, heart racing, stepped forward despite the fear. "I chose them, not you. You're the monster hiding in suits." And her smile cracked, the hired riders wavering, dropping weapons as sirens finally wailed close. Real this time. Elena's guards dragging her back as her web unraveled under the spotlight. Dawn broke messy, Elena cuffed and paraded. Her schemes exposed kickbacks, land grabs, all tied to ignoring abuse like Jake's to keep her allies happy, and Victor slunk away, empire in ruins, while the town grappled with the mess, some hailing the riders as saviors, others whispering about the violence, shaking their foundations. Weeks later, in that packed courtroom, Jake took the stand, voice steady now, "They didn't kidnap me. They saved me when nobody else would." And the judge ruled guardianship to Sarah, a rider's widow with a heart big as her late husband's bike. The pack named kin, unbreakable bonds over blood. Months on, Jake rode his own little Harley down Main, custom painted with Ride Free, the town watching mixed claps and glares, but he grinned wide, wind in his face, knowing family wasn't given. It was earned in fire and thunder. And yeah, looking back, it makes you wonder when the system's blind. Do you wait for it to wake up, or do you roar in and fix it yourself? Drop a comment. Would you call the cops or the riders in a spot like that? Like if this hit home, subscribe for more real talk tales that shake things up. And hey, Share your take on justice right, wrong, or somewhere in the gray.